And hello guys, it's PJ from the VSN Modding-Team again, and I just want to bring you a very quick, and I hope I can keep it brief, video on our new F104 Starfighter-Cockpit. It is still low fidelity, so it's just nice to look at, and you can interact with it, but you need to bind buttons. Okay, so let's just go on, and we'll just start at the front left. Here you'll see just almost the normal layout from before. On the downside from the left there's the gear handle. Next to it is the lights switch, the little one with the 3 little lights on it. They will move, of course, if the gear goes up, the handle goes up, and vice versa. Regarding the light switch, it will depict different states of external lighting. Alright, the rest of the switches on that panel, on the front left down, do not do anything. Then we just go to the right and go to the weapon armament panel. I'll just go a little bit down. It's a little bit, yeah, it's a little small, cozy cockpit. So you see the 3 green lights. Those are the lights for the landing light. Green means the landing gear is down. If they're not lit up, the landing gear is up. There we got the different lights for the pylons. You'll need to check those to understand in which mode you are. Please keep in mind you're still flying an FC3 mod, so you need to check those modes. If you kind of go to the nav mode, it will look like this. The little switch will be in the middle, all lights will be off. That can be nav mode or it can be gun mode. Both modes will show the same lights and switch position, but I think it does not really matter since we do not have any kind of navigation implemented right now. If you switch to air to ground mode, you see it will look like this. The middle 4 pylons will light up and the switch will be to the right. If you then go back to nav mode, it will go to the middle switch position and the lights will extinguish. If you go to any air-to-air mode, it's the same for the BVR mode and the orside mode. You will just hear the sound of the sidewinders when they are on board, and you will see all stations light up. Okay, you see the switch on the left side. That's your cue that you're in A-to-A mode. Okay, back to normal or nav mode or gun mode. Right above of this there are the leading edge and trailing edge flare positions indicators. This is the same as before. On the right side, right next to it, you got the optical side panel. You see there's a switch and there's that gray dial, and right on the top right corner of the gray dial there is a little counter. The counter will tell you your gun depression, and the switch will tell you if your gun sight is in norm mode, off, or manual. So you need to bind those inputs. It's necessary to bind them. I'll just show you very quickly. You just navigate to gun pipper, which in German is Visier, and you'll need the gun pipper air to ground. That is that one. You will need the gun sight caged, which is bound here on the 16 button. Caged is normal mode, air to ground is manual mode. Okay, and then you will need gun pipper up, gun pipper down. Those two to move the gun pipper up and down. Pretty easy. Just bind them, everything will be great. If you want to use them, you just switch to air to ground mode. See the switch going down, and then you can, with gun pipper down, you can just move it down, milliradian by milliradian. If you say that's pretty tiring, if you need to go to 80, you are right, it will take some time. But right now we just got it like this. Maybe we can implement pressed option later, but we do not have it right now, so you will need to click your way through it, and you will see the gun pipper depresses pretty nicely and can go up again, as you see, works the same, and it will stop at the depression of 0, 0, because you don't want to go higher. Why would you? Alright, that's the optical side panel. We'll just switch it back to normal, so caged mode, everything is good. Radar works as it did work before. On the top left of the radar, well, not really on the top left of the radar, but oriented, there is the flap asymmetric indicator. So if you're going so fast that you damage your flaps, that one will light up. Of course, when it lights up, they're damaged, so you can't move them anymore. But you at least know that they're damaged and that you might consider going back to base and getting a repair. Alright, moving on to the right side, there we see the antenna tilt. We do not have that implemented right now. You can see the antenna tilt normally on the radar. And then you will just use that one. Okay, it's the same as before. F15 radar, just look it up. Then we got further to the right, that's not working, is the cabin pressure. We don't have that modeled yet, but below the cabin pressure gauge there is the external fuel quantity gauge, and there is the external fuel quantity switch. You can switch it from tip to wing. We now have wing tip tanks, no wing tanks, so if I switch it, see the left and the right hands will just move accordingly. They will, because it is modeled like that, always move parallel to each other, because the fuel gets delivered from both tip tanks or both pylon tanks at the same time, so they won't divide. Of course they will divide if somebody shoots one of your tanks off and you just got one left, so then they will be different. That's for sure. Next one is internal fuel quantity. As before, the gauges like left of those of that gauge does not work. And now we'll start on the left side again on the upper instrument panel. To the left you see an auto trim up and down, or nose up and down. This is the long called for trim indicator. If you trim the nose up, you will probably see it moves ever so slowly to the nose up position, and of course it can move ever so slowly to the nose down position. Keep in mind you need to trim a lot, and you need to trim much, because it is just set like that you can really trim in very small increments. So if you have a kind of a fast click button, anything like that, that would come in handy. Next to it is the turn and slip indicator. The indicator hand on the top shows your turning, well, not your turning range, but your turning direction, turning left, turning right, and how fast you turn. And the one below is just in the real world, that is just a slightly bent glass tube, and in the middle there's a steel ball which just moves with the gravity. So if you're pulling a 1G turn, it will always be in the middle. If you pull more Gs, so you're getting quicker around the corner than a 1G turn, it will go to the opposite side of the way you're turning, because you're doing a skidding turn, and if you're turning slower than a 1G turn, you're doing a sliding turn, and then it will be on the side where you're turning to. Okay, right next to it, it's a clock. Unbelievable. We got a clock in the cockpit. Pretty nice. We missed that one lately. So then the accelerometer, same one as before, just positive and negative Gs. Right next to it is the altimeter. Nothing new here. You can set the QNH or the QFE, whatever you like, and it will move your altimeter. But keep in mind, the value is in hectopascal. It's not in inch mercury, so all the readings you will get from ATCs or someone, they will be in inch mercury, and then you need to recalculate it to hectopascal, but well, why not a little bit calculation while you're flying. Then on the top of it is the let's call it speedometer and Mach meter. It just shows you the your calculated airspeed in knots, and it shows your calculated airspeed in Mach. Please keep in mind that the scale is different, so it will look like you're really speeding up after 100 knots. Well, of course you're speeding up, but you're not going that much faster, or you do not accelerate that much faster than before. It's just the scale. If you take a good look, the scale between 0 and 100 is smaller than the scale between 1 and 150 a lot. So you just have an idea how that one works out. Next one, on the top, engine air inlet temperature. This one is pretty interesting, because we got that one in the first time, and it's another indicator for the engine overheat problems the F104 can encounter when going just faster than it should go. So if that rises to the 100 degrees or above, you might slowly get in trouble. Okay, keep that in mind. Then we got the HSI, which just shows right now your heading. Bearing and steering triangle are not yet implemented. They will be implemented, or hopefully will be implemented, when we reach standalone status. Then on the top again, like climb or variometer, so it just shows your climb rate, and if you just take a look, it's 1000 feet per minute. Okay, so if you're climbing, if you're going pretty fast, that one will be pretty quickly at 6, because you will be climbing like well, almost like a rocket with a man inside of this plane. Okay, you know the drill already. Right next to it we got a new addition. This is our campus, which also shows campus and artificial horizon, so it's both in one. By the way, this is the exact instrument that really did not help the German F104 pilots who wanted to do a demonstration when the F104 got first introduced into the Luftwaffe, because that one just hung. Not very good when you're flying through clouds and you're thinking you're going up, but you're going down, or you just don't see it really. And then, of course, your altimeter does the job as well, but well, if you're just looking at that one, it's not a good thing. Of course, that's as much as the movies tell us that it was that problem. Anyway, below it we got the in German it's Fluglageranzeiger, I think. So it's just it does the opposite of the artificial horizon, so it shows you which wing is down, which wing is up, and so you can have another instrument for finding your way around when you're flying through the clouds or in very bad weather or something. Right next to it, RPM gauge. Well, you got the drill. Exhaust temperature gauge, you got the drill as well. If that really rises above 800, we should slow down, maybe, but you will get some other cues as well. Nozzle position, same as before. Fuel flow, same as before. Oil pressure, we do not really calculate the oil pressure right here, so we do not have like oil pumps or oil pressure systems or oil pressure tubes that run through the plane, and when they get hit you are leaking oil. We don't have that, so that's a state of simulation we might not get to, because that's really a lot of modeling, that's really a lot of tinkering with the damage model, and really a lot of stuff. You might not get there, but of course keep an eye on that gauge anyway. If that drops off or just goes through the roof, something might just be wrong. Oil quantity is not modeled at all, it just shows 3/4 all the time. Down on the right we've got the indicator panel. Just keep an eye on those. If something lights up in red, might not be too good. Take a look there, and then you'll see what's happening. The other stuff I don't need to talk about, because the consoles aren't yet they are not functional right now. On the left console, of course, the throttle is functional and the flaps lever is functional, and of course very functional is this little plate which shows you how fast you can go and which speeds you should not exceed. Alright, I think I've got everything. We'll just have a little start. The ones on top, of course. There's a campus, normal campus, nothing fancy. There we got our RWR. So we got a state like the F104Cs in Vietnam. They got these RWRs bolted on the dashboard and had some antennas fitted to the front and the back. And of course our RWR, since it's FC3 based, will be much better than the one they had. They just had like flashes and beeps and it was just annoying, but here you can get a little bit more information. And right next to it, this lit one is pretty interesting. I tried to get a good look at it. It's the equivalent angle of attack meter. Why equivalent? Yeah, or why not? Okay, it's just it's an indication, not angle of attack in degrees as it was before, but it's an indication for angle of attack somethings, let's say, or let's say percents of max, or let's say somethings of max. Okay, so if you reach the 5 and enter the red area, well, it's never good to enter the red area, I think, on all gauges, so just don't do it. If you're entering that area, you're exceeding your airframe's AOA limits. So since the AOA limits do change due to speed, it's not always the same. So it might be that you feel do not have that much AOA, but the indicator already almost shows the red area. So just ease off the stick. Just give a little bit front stick and get it back to normal. Use flaps to relieve some AOA. If you're in landing configuration, give it a little bit more thrust. Use your boundary layer control system to generate a little bit more lift, so you can reach your target and not fall out of the sky. I think that's a good idea. And we got a gun pipper. The gun pipper will just start the bird, and I'll show you in the air. Doesn't take that long since it's running already. Okay, let's go. So here you can observe the how the speedometer, the knots indication works. You see now it's really speeding up like hell. I'm really accelerating now, we're not really accelerating a bit much faster. It's just because it is an admin scale. So just pull a little back stick, 200, airborne, gear up. Keep in mind that you should not exceed 250 with traveling gear. Gear is in, everything is good, flaps are stage 1 still. And now to the gun pipper. You see the gun pipper there. A little bit something moves around. This is kind of your artificial horizon, but right in front of your eyes. Okay, so well, it's not your artificial horizon. It's your Fluglageanzeiger. It's the thing that shows how your plane is in respect to the Earth. The horizon. So you see those little dots, they pick your wings, and the dot in the middle is your tail. So that one is like this. Well, just flying. In German you would say Messerflug. It's just like you're flying one wing straight down, one wing straight up, and so that helps a lot. Okay. That's it so far. Been longer than I wanted to have this video going, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed the new cockpit. Flight model changes have been some as well. Not too major, but should be a little bit easier to fly. You can still reach the dreaded AOA of more than 15 degrees, or let's say the real dreaded AOA of more than 22 degrees, which will lead to a sudden pitch up. Now it will not be followed always by a flat spin, but you will have the possibility to recover the bird. Or more precisely, the bird will kind of recover itself, because it will just pitch up, stay pitched up, and it will pitch down. And in the process it will not lose that much speed as before, so you have a chance to keep on flying. that same drill when you're slow, like below 300 knots, well, you might not get it. And then it's only alright down to the earth, and I would suggest using your nice jettison seat, because it will probably not be recoverable. As in real life, you really get it slow and then do the stall drill. It's not really working. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video, enjoy the mod. I hope we get the standalone out this year sometime, not sure when, but we hope we can get done. If you want more of that Vietnam era stuff, take a look at the F4 Phantom 2, which is a standalone mod. Got a video on the channel as well, so just take those nice fast and sexy looking jets and enjoy them, have fun, and maybe we'll see each other on one or the other multiplayer service. Cheers!